Hello everyone. In this video I'm just going to go over your midterm review, go over the things that I wanted you to get out of it. Notice that so I put all of the sections that will be included on the actual midterm, but I didn't make the sections look just like the test. So the test will be easier, I hope. It will be easier than the review, because your review you're having to come up with these things on your own. You're having to produce all of the answers. In reality, on the midterm, some of the sections will be matching. So your first section will be matching. You will have a few word banks that should help you out on certain things. So you won't completely be doing or giving the information completely from memory on everything. Some parts you will have to produce, okay? By produce, I mean you're actually having to provide the correct conjugated form, but on a few of the sections, as long as you can recognize the correct answer, you'll be okay. So let's start with saludos. Saludos are greetings. Hola, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo está usted? It's important that you know the difference between these two. Remember, ¿cómo estás? You would use to a friend, un amigo, someone you would call by their first name. So, ¿cómo estás, María? ¿Cómo estás, José? ¿Cómo estás, amiga? ¿Cómo está usted, señor Sánchez? ¿Cómo está usted, señora Ramos? ¿Cómo está usted, profesor o profesora? So, some good responses for those would be something like, muy bien, y tú, or muy bien, y usted, depending on the relationship between the two speakers. You could also say something like, todo bien, or regular, or más o menos. Both of those things mean, so-so. And then we could say mal if you're doing badly. Also remember that another way to ask how someone is just to use the phrase ¿qué tal? So ¿qué tal? Can be used in an informal and in a formal situation, and the responses will be the same. So muy bien, todo bien, regular, mal. We also have another phrase I didn't include on this list. Oh, actually I did. It's number 4. Number 4 is ¿qué hay de nuevo? ¿Qué hay de nuevo is what's new, what's up. So this expression will probably only use with people you're in an informal relationship with. So ¿qué hay de nuevo? The response to that would usually be something like nada. Kind of like what's up? What's up? Nothing much. So nada, you could say something like todo bien. That's fine. And then, of course, you can turn the question around and say ¿y tú? To continue the conversation. Número 2. Go back to number 2. ¿Cómo te llamas? For a friend or for someone you're in an informal relationship with, versus ¿cómo se llama usted? You want to always answer with me llamo. Doesn't matter if you're a girl, if you're a guy, if you are in a formal or informal situation, it's always me llamo. Bien? Not me llamo es, just me llamo. So, me llamo Juan, me llamo Rebecca, me llamo Alisa, etc. Número 3, ¿cómo se llama él o ella? This is when you're asking about a third party. So, él or ella, we could use él or ella to start the sentence, but it's kind of implied already because I've already used it in the question. So you could just say se llama. Se llama. So if we're talking about my friend whose name is Jocelyn, se llama Jocelyn. Número 5, gracias. The response to that is de nada. There's also another thing that you may have heard. It's no hay de qué. But honestly, de nada is a lot more common. I don't hear no hay de qué that often, and I don't even remember if it was in your chapter, so de nada is all you really need. For adios, you could respond back, of course, with adios, but you could respond with something like hasta luego, if you're going to see them later, hasta mañana, if you're going to see them tomorrow, hasta el lunes, if you're going to see them on Monday. Ciao would be a good one for an informal situation. You can spell it like this with a U, and you can spell it like that with an O. I prefer the U, the book prefers the O, it doesn't really matter. Número 7, ¿cómo se escribe tu nombre? The way you'll start that is, you could say mi nombre se escribe, or you could simply say se escribe. So, if you were asking about my last name, for instance, which is apellido, apellido means last name. If you had asked me, ¿cómo se escribe tu nombre? I would say se escribe P, E, L-H-A-N. Se escribe. Número 8. ¿Cuál es tu número de teléfono? You could say mi número de teléfono es, or you could simply say es or SL, and then whatever your number happens to be. 936, okay. I'm going to try to think of the one from the office. 468-4303. ¿Cuál es tu dirección de correo electrónico? Correo electrónico es lo mismo que email. Same thing as email. So we could say es, and then give your address. Pelham KG arroba sfasu.edu. Te presento a mi amigo Juan. This is basically, let me introduce you to my friend Juan. What would you say to Juan? You would say probably something like mucho gusto, or encantado, or encantada if you're a woman. Mucho gusto, encantado, o encantada. And then now we have mucho gusto, and to respond to someone who tells you mucho gusto, you can say something like encantado, or encantada. El gusto es mío, which is something like the pleasure is mine, which sounds really formal in English, but you can use it. You could also just say likewise. In other words, you too. Nice to meet you, you too. That would be igualmente. Bien, so let's take a look at ser and estar. Ser and estar both mean to be. Conjugated forms in English are I am, you are, he is, we are. So which one do we use when? Let's review their uses. To give a location, we use estar. For example, nosotros estamos en casa. To tell where someone is from, we use ser. For instance, yo soy de Texas. To talk about our health, we use estar. La niña está enferma. To talk about conditions and emotions, we use estar as well. So, for instance, ellos están contentos. Think of estar as a state, not something that has to be permanent, but a state. With nouns that identify our professions and things like other inherent characteristics, we use ser. So, yo soy profesora, ustedes son estudiantes. If I said he is the president, we also would have to use ser. Él es el presidente. Even though that's a temporary thing, whoever's president now won't be president in the future for more than 4 years, typically maybe 8 years if they're reelected. It's temporary, but we're still going to use ser. The rule there is that if you're using it with a noun follows. So, presidente, profesor, estudiante, mecánico, ingeniero, engineer, things like that, they're always going to be ser. Even things like niño, niña, hombre, mujer, whatever. Anything that identifies you and it's a noun, always going to be ser. So another way to think about this is that location, health, conditions, and emotions use estar, but everything else uses ser. I find that a pretty helpful tip to remember. So if it doesn't fit one of those categories, most likely it's going to be a form of ser. So let's review our conjugations of ser. First, estar. Yo estoy. Tú estás. Él, ella, o usted está. Also, please remember to put your accents on your forms of estar. Most of the time, I'm not too nitpicky about accents because, there usually isn't another word that you're going to confuse it with. But in the case of these forms of estar, we have two different words. We have the word está and we have the word esta, which is not a form of this verb. Esta means this, as in this table, esta mesa. But this verb is está. So it would be really helpful if you would put those accents on. There's so many ways to put accents on words, depending on what kind of computer you have. I'm using a Mac right now at work, and while I don't prefer Macs in my daily life, they're actually really great for when you're putting accents on words. All you literally have to do is hit the Option key down at the bottom left. Hit the Option key, hold it. Hold the letter E, and then let go. All right? Now type whatever letter you want to accentuate. So you want to accent the letter E, type an E. So let me tell you that again. So you hold Option, that's down to the left, then you hit the letter E at the same time, You can let go of E. You don't have to hold it. Because if you hold it, you'll have this. Well, actually, it doesn't matter. You can hold it or not. So yeah, let go of it, and then write your letter. So it can be an A, it can be an I. And then for NY, it's really easy as well. You just take the option in the N, and then hit N again. So that's for a Mac. For PC, there's lots of different ways to do it. I can't show you right now because I'm not on a PC, but if you do a quick Google search, it's really not that hard. I'm not the most technologically gifted, and I regularly use accents almost every single day. So let's go to forms of ser. La yo soy, tú eres, él, ella, usted es, nosotros o nosotras somos, vosotros o vosotras sois, ellos, ellas, ustedes son. I want to make a quick note here about these subject pronouns. Remember that ellos and ellas are they, but ustedes means you all, y'all, you guys, whatever you want to say for that. Ustedes, it's when you're talking to a group of your friends or a group of people. That should say vosotros and vosotras, not vosotros and nosotras. Yeah, so vosotros is also used for y'all, but this option is only exists in Spain. So everywhere else in the world we have to use ustedes. In Spain we have an option. We can use ustedes, we can use vosotros. So ¿qué es? Identify places and objects. So yeah, hopefully y'all were able to do a lot of these from memory. If not, you know what to study. The pencil sería el lápiz. A backpack sería una mochila. Some pens, unos bolígrafos. If you wanted to use the word pluma, you could say unas plumas. The table, la mesa. Some papers, unos papeles. A professor, un profesor. The university, la universidad. A restaurant, un restaurante. The cafe, el café. The stadium, el estadio. A dorm, una residencia, or una residencia estudiantil, or you could even say una residencia de estudiantes, and then the gym would be el gimnasio. Okay, so our AR, ER, and IR verbs. Let's review the meanings of these. Estudiar, to study. Tocar, to touch or to play an instrument. Practicar, to practice. Hablar, to speak or to talk. Cantar, to sing. Comer, to eat. Escribir, to write. Aprender, to learn. Bailar, to dance. Trabajar, to work. Tomar, to take, as in I take medicine or I take a class. It can also be to drink, as in I drink tea, I drink coffee, I drink water. Necesitar, to need. Enseñar, to teach. It can also be to show, but here we usually going to mean to teach. Vivir, to live. Comprender, to understand. And correr, to run. So as you conjugate these all the way through, think about what you're saying as you write out your forms. Yo practico. Imagine yourself practicing something as you say yo practico. Tú practicas. Él, ella. Usted practica. Nosotros practicamos. Vosotros practicáis. Ellos o ellas o ustedes practican. Got about 1 more minute left on this recording, so if it cuts me off, I'm just going to continue on another video. So, comer. Another way you could do this if you wanted to, as you practice, is just go through horizontally and go through the yo. So, yo practico, yo como, yo vivo. Hopefully you are catching on to the fact by now that your yo form, when you're talking about yourself, is always going to end in o, unless it's a weird verb like soy or voy. But pretty much every other verb is going to end with o. Tú comes. Let's go down vertically again. So we got comer, como, comes. Él o ella come. Nosotros comemos. Vosotros coméis. Y ellos o ustedes comen. Tú vives. Él o ella vive. Notice this is the one thing that makes the verb different from an ER verb. This nosotros form, vivimos, and then this vosotros form, vivis. And then lastly, we have vive. Okay, so I got about 15 seconds left of this recording, so I'm going to stop this here. I'm going to start a new one just to finish the review. Make sure to let me know before you take your exam if you have any questions. Adios.